Hi, I'm Andre Ward, and this is another episode of CSN Fights. And I'm joined here by Daniel Cormier, UFC light heavyweight champion, who defends his title at UFC 210 against Anthony Rumble Johnson. How you doing, brother? It's good to have you.
My man, I'm excited. I'm excited. When they told me I was getting to talk to the champ, I was like, you know what? I'll drive up to San Francisco in the middle of training camp.
Oh, man.
For Andre Ward, I'll do it.
And I know how hard that is.
Yeah, man.
Obviously in camp, man, you know, you got that mindset and you're locked in. So we appreciate you being here. Jumping straight into the fight, you and Rumble, you guys have been polite leading up to this fight. This is obviously a rematch. Mm-hmm. This is different than the John Jones build-up. Yes. What is your preference? Is it to dislike an opponent, or do you kind of feel them out and see where they're going with it?
A lot of times whenever I'm fighting a guy that I dislike, it's like it takes a little bit too much energy. You know what I'm saying? Because
good point.
You've got the training, also the fight, but also the emotional. It's like it just takes too much. And when you walk into the octagon, I'm not only fighting John Jones, I'm fighting myself too, because I'm fighting the emotion. Now, Anthony Johnson, I don't have that great disdain for him. You know, it's I respect him as a competitor. He's always been a gentleman, but at the end of the day, this is my job. I need to go out and be successful, defend this belt.
That's a great point, because when you look at fighters and you look at, you know, MMA fighters and boxers, you know, sometimes they think we got to be these monsters 24 hours a day. Explain a little bit about how you can be a gentleman, you can be respectful, but then turn into that monster once you get into the octagon.
Well, you know what, man? You have to be true to yourself. You know, as I told you when I walked in here, back in 2004, this young man, I lost a daughter back in 2003, and I didn't know Andre from any other guy on the Olympic team, and the guy walks up to me as a young man and goes, you know what, I'm sorry for your loss. Sat with me at the Olympic Training Center cafeteria, and we talked for an hour, and I was like, you know, man, just in that moment, I knew that you would have success, but also because when a person can carry themselves much bigger than their job, it means a lot to not only the people close to you, but people that can watch you from the outside. So, man, you know, I know what my job entails, and that's for me to go out there and fight. But at the end of the day, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a wrestling coach and everything else, and that's what truly matters.
This is a rematch with Anthony Rumble Johnson. Obviously, you beat him the first time around. What did you learn the first time, and what adjustments, if any, are you going to make this second time around without giving up too much?
I've had to make a ton of adjustments because the one thing I did not anticipate was his speed. You know, he's a very big guy. So when we got into the octagon, I was like, wow, he's a lot faster than I thought he was going to be. So as he was throwing punches and kicks, they were landing because I didn't anticipate the speed. Now, another thing I've done is I've gone back to work on my base. You know, I have to be able to stand with Anthony to make him respect me on the feet, because if he doesn't respect you, he just kind of rolls right over you. So I've made some adjustments, but I did really try to compensate for the speed. So my strength and conditioning coach is here more often. He lives in LA. I do more stuff with more focus on just being fast. You know, as I get older, I have to be able to keep up with these young guys.
Now, to the layman out there who doesn't really, you know, they're not in a combat sport, why would a guy like Anthony Johnson want to fight you again when you choked him out the first time? Some people would run in the other direction.
It's the belt, man. You know, you know it. Guys that have held titles at the highest level know it. There's a different life when you're carrying a championship in a sport like the UFC or boxing, or if you're the #1 tennis player in the world. It's a different life in terms of endorsements, sponsorships, and everything else. So Anthony wants that. You know, he's a guy that has competed for a real long time in wrestling and everything else, and he's come so close. And with that knockout power, he knows that it only takes one shot. So he's not afraid, as I'm not afraid of him. So this is an opportunity for him.
A great night of fights ahead at UFC 210 in Buffalo. In the co-main event, you've got two elite middleweights battling for a title shot as former champ Chris Weidman takes on Gegard Mousasi. And of course, in the main event, the highly anticipated rematch between DC and Rumble. Check out this trailer from our friends at UFC.
I'm glad Daniel says the things that he says, because, you know, somebody has to build up his confidence, you know what I mean? If he feels I'm mentally weak, that's fine. We'll see. Daniel knows that I can change the outcome of a fight any second.
Rumble has looked amazing in the last 3 fights. He knocks people out.
Oh my! Rumble is a machine right now!
What he's able to do is so different than anyone else. You know, you can't
absorb one or two. The only one that's been able to is Cormier. DC can take a hell of a shot.
The first time I landed a big punch and it almost put him away, but he survived the first one. I don't know if he can survive two.
Oh, that's it!
All right, we're back, everybody, and I'm here with the champ, Daniel Cormier. I've got some questions. I'm a UFC fan. Obviously, I'm a boxer, but there's differences, there's nuances to boxing and being in the boxing ring and also being in the octagon. So you're getting ready to fight a guy he's a great striker.
Yes.
And his money punch is what?
The overhand right, man. He's very good at the overhand right. But it's the left kick that follows the overhand right that makes him very dangerous.
So let's start with the right. In a boxing ring, if you throw the overhand right at me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to either block you here and maybe try to counter.
Yes.
I may throw it again. I may block. Now, short left hook,
yes,
that's open.
Yes.
Or if I see you telegraphing and I've timed it, I'll let you, and I'm coming over, and I want this and maybe up top. In the octagon, when he's throwing that, what do you
Okay, so
I'm Johnson.
So first off,
don't hit me though.
So first off, we can't do that. We don't see it. We haven't been doing it our entire lives. So we don't see the overhand right, so you just throw the check left hook. Now, for me, when Anthony Johnson starts to throw that overhand right, if I can time it, I will shoot for my takedown.
Well, let me ask you this. Does he tip you off at all with anything?
He winds up, but he's so fast that a lot of times it reaches its target. So when he throws that overhand right, I want to block too. Now, as I block, I'll shoot my double leg, boom, finish my takedown, or attack a single leg on the opposite side. Or I block the punch as you throw it there, and then I start looking for my counter right hand, uppercut, or something on the opposite side. But again, I've got to be careful because as he does this, boom, now he's already stepping the kick with the opposite side.
How's his left hand?
You know what? He's fast.
You worried about?
He's fast, but he has a few tells that I can't really tell you on this side.
Of course.
So, but he's got a fast jab, but his left hook he doesn't really throw. It's the straight right hand, it's the overhand right, and it's that left kick. Those are his money punches. Now, that power does start to fade as the fight starts to go on.
Why? Tell the people why.
Because he's fast twitch muscle. He's a big, strong guy that's looking to knock you out. He's not really saving anything.
Yeah.
Everything's fast and to the point. If he can get his hands on you, he'll put you out. Yeah. But if you can sustain the onslaught, the early rush, you got a chance.
Now, I read somewhere, I don't know if it matters to you or not, this guy has a 5.5-inch reach. How do you deal with that in an octagon?
So first off, like if you and I are boxing, my God forbid, you would be so much further than me. Because look at my hands.
Yeah.
I don't have very long arms. My reach is 72 inches. But I can get close. And as you guys do in boxing, the moment I grab your head, the referee jumps in, stop.
Yeah, exactly.
I run in, so if I can get past that reach, I can grab you here. Now I can just punch and hold.
You got action.
I can actually work. That's legal.
To hold and punch.
Whereas you guys, they're like, stop. Me, I'm holding the head, I'm punching, and I'm right by you. So the whole time, I'm going to be chest to chest against you, not only punching you, but actually making you carry all of my weight. But reach doesn't matter as much because we're not here. We're not here, and also leg reach.
Well, I was going to ask you about the leg reach. Briefly explain what that means.
Well, it's just that, from hip to the bottom. Yeah. So if you have a guy like John Jones, very long legs, he just does this thing. He kicks you at your knee.
Where is he trying to hit you with that reach?
He's trying to hit the knee because it makes it go straight.
Hyperextension.
Which can hyperextend you, or it just backs you up. It doesn't allow you to get close. Rumble doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But if you've got long legs, you can actually strike from a further distance as opposed to having to get
and stay out of harm's way.
You can stay out of harm's way. Telling you, man, it's a great sport. I love it.
That's why I box. That's why he does UFC. There you have it, the champ, Daniel Cormier, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming in.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Let's switch gears to boxing. Two of the sport's pound-for-pound best were in action last weekend at Madison Square Garden. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez suffered the first loss of his career in controversial fashion, and Gennady Golovkin eked out a unanimous decision over Daniel Jacobs. Another very close and competitive fight. Hats off to the folks over at HBO for a fantastic card. Also, coming off a big win this past weekend in Tacoma, my friend, training partner, Aaron Heavy Metal Coley. How you doing?
Good, man.
Hey, man, we happy to have you here. Like we just said, you coming off a big victory. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the fight.
Man, it was a long time coming for me. I've been off a whole year. My last fight was on your card.
Right.
So it actually has been a long time. So I was just excited to get back. It was a tough one though. I had a tough opponent. Somebody is hard to look good against. So I just came out and did what I had to do to win.